about some mistakes that I see people make early in their tech career, like when they're either graduating coding boot camp or on their search for their first job, being self-taught in tech. And these are things that hopefully would just help some people, you know, continue the upward trajectory in their career, and some mistakes that I've made, you know, myself that I felt like could have, you know, definitely helped me out. So the first one I'll say is, you know, going to your first job and not really continuing the self-studying and spending the time outside of work to continue your professional development and just learning and growth, right? So in coding boot camp, when you're trying to get that first job, you're likely putting a lot of time in after the coding boot camp or on the weekends or at night, you know, really trying to put in the extra effort on a project or, you know, something that you're doing to basically better prepare you for job interviews and just, you know, sharpen your skill set basically. And I see a lot of people when they get to their first job, or once they finally land that first job, they kind of stop doing the self improvement part of things because, or professional development part of things, because they feel like that's what their job is for. They feel like, well, now I have a job, I've broken into tech, I got my foot in the door, and so now I'm going to get all my experience at work, which doesn't mean you won't get any experience at work, but it doesn't always mean that the experience you're getting at work is going to be valued at other companies in the future. So the company that you work at is paying you because what you're doing for them is valuable to them enough for them to pay you, right? But if that skill set isn't valued at other employers, then it won't do you any good if all you did is, you know, one thing that one company finds valuable but other companies don't. So putting that time in to continue working on side projects, passion projects, you know, just working with other people on other things, or um, I don't know. There's like a ton of things you can do that are, you know, not work related, but can still help you professionally, professional development wise. Like even if it is certifications and things like that, just anything that gives you tangible hands-on experience to help you kind of like better yourself for your career, as opposed to just assuming that your job is supposed to give you all the experience you need to continue your career path or your career trajectory. So that's the first one that I think some people who are like either graduated boot camps or who are self-taught, like once they get their first job, they likely are going to stop or slow down that learning. And you know, I would just keep that going as much as possible, because you know we always are competing for jobs and for, you know, our skills and things like that, transferable skills. So yeah, that's just something I would keep in mind. The next mistake I see a lot of people make is, you know, not really focusing on building a personal brand. So this can kind of overlap with the first one, but if you're not doing a side project, or if you're not, you know, trying to continue professional development, taking whatever classes or getting certifications, or I don't know, doing something to continue enhancing, or just expanding on your professional skills and knowledge, you know, building a personal brand is a really useful thing. This kind of, I don't want to say low effort, but it's it's not the same as starting a business, right? Like you can start a personal brand with just a blog, a simple website. It could be a YouTube channel making videos. It could be a Slack community. It could be a newsletter where you just send out emails to people and build an email list. But first of all, having your own audience is a huge thing, because it just, you know, you never know what opportunities it's gonna, you know, they're gonna come from that, and being able to connect with people from around the world. You know, you just never know who you might meet, and it's great. I love being able to connect with people from social media, YouTube. So yeah, it's just something that you want to do, because you have, like I said, you might need a job one day and have no idea who's going to like add you on LinkedIn, or who's going to reach out to you by email, all because they, you know, read something that you wrote or watched a video that you created or something like that. So, you know, building that community, building your own personal brand is super important, because it also is a super valuable skill for any business. So in almost any job role you go into, it's never a bad thing to have your personal brand, or to be working on a personal brand that you've built, whether, like I said, that's an email list, or, you know, any type of community that you grow and sort of nurture, and people, you know you create content. Like I said, even just having a website. It's just super helpful because it shows that, again, you're doing things outside of work that are unprompted. No one's making you, do those things. No one's telling you that you have to go do this or like micromanaging you to go build your own community, but instead it's something that is showing that you're just a motivated person, you're a self-starter, and it takes digital marketing skills, it takes SEO skills, it takes marketing skills to really know how to craft and write the type of content that people are, going to be attracted to and find value in, and even finding the areas where your audience are and being able to get your content out in front of them is a skill in itself too that I think is valuable for like any role. So that's another big one that I think is important. And yeah, I think I had more, but I'll probably make another video on this at some point. But those are just a couple of things that I think I see people do when they first get into tech and start their career, but don't really continue, looking for like what the next thing is or what's going to help them get to the next thing. So actually, I'll close out with that. I'll add that as a point is, really not knowing what career path you're trying to go down is also something that can hinder you or keep you at one job for way longer than you need to be, just because you haven't really thought about what is the long-term goal for your career. So in the beginning, you might be going to coding bootcamp because you want to be a software engineer, right? You might be studying for a PMP because you want to become a project manager. You might be trying to take a Scrum certification because you want to be a Scrum Master. But once you get that first job, you have to be thinking down the road, like long term, is this what you want to do for the rest of your career? Or is this just a stepping stone to something bigger? And if so, what is that? And what does that path look like? Because whatever that path is for you is going to change or determine probably a lot of the things that you're going to be doing or should be doing to help you get there, and also affecting the timeline, right, of how long is it going to take you to get to wherever that end goal is for you. So if you don't want to just get stuck in a certain job because you're just comfortable with the pay or you're comfortable with the company culture, or I don't know, you just overall aren't sure about where you want to go with it, you might end up spending a lot more time in a certain role or at a certain job in a certain company, where you aren't really being, pushed as much, where you can really grow and go through a lot of different, professional challenges that you can, grow through and help you pretty much be more valuable for other jobs down the road, and really just improve your career. So just some things to keep in mind. That was only 3 things. Like I said, I might make another video on this as I like think of some more stuff, because I feel like there's a lot of things that looking back on that either I would do differently or I would just like recommend, people to do. So I'll probably make another part of this, but I'm curious what y'all think about these couple points. So let me know down in the comment section, like if you agree with these, what would you add to this list if, you're new in tech or you've already made a career transition or trying to break in, what are some things that you would either, advise people to do or avoid them to not do. But yeah, y'all, if you're new here, my name is Darian. I'm a product manager, former software engineer, and a startup founder. I have a huge drop on a new startup coming very soon, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Also, check out the links in my description box down below where all my free resources and things like that are. And I will catch y'all next video, all right? Peace.